Hey guys, today I'm going to be filming a little more serious of a video. I mean, it's not different really for me because I started my advice series, but I got an advice question and I kind of wanted to film a whole video on it. If you guys don't know, my parents are divorced, and this girl was asking on ways to cope with it and just kind of how to get through it, and I was like, yo, I can make a whole video on this. So to the girl who asked me this, I hope it helps you, and I hope it helps anyone else who is struggling with it. And yeah, I'm not going to get into detail simply because I want to respect my parents' privacy, but I can tell you guys a few ways to survive it. Sorry about the my phone. Sorry, let me mute that. But yeah, this video is going to be my best tips for surviving your parents' divorce. It seems like divorce happens so much nowadays. It's kind of sad, but you know, it happens and it's something you got to get through, and here are my tips on getting through it. I think, when did I find out? I found out, let me look. I'm looking through my diary that I write in, but this is like my deepest thoughts, like, whew. Because I wrote the day that they told us. Oh, that's sad. July 2nd, 2012 is when my parents told us they were getting a divorce. I still remember that night, detail to detail. It's all in here, very private, not going to be reading that ever on here. Okay, so I found it in July of 2012, and now it's almost July. Well, it's kind of in June of 2015, so I've been dealing with it for several years. All right, first thing, friends. If your parents get divorced, you know it's a lot to handle. Everyone handles it differently. Some people it's harder on, some people it's not as hard on. It's going to be hard on your family regardless of how old you are or whatever. Your friends will be your savior, because if you don't want to talk to your parents or teachers or anyone about it, you can always talk to your friends about it, and they're always just like a good out that you can talk to. I remember the night my parents told me, I went to Sydney's house. You guys have seen her several times on this channel. Thank you, Sydney, if you're watching this. I love you so much. I was able to come to your house and we just hugged and we both cried because we have that connection, and it was like the sweetest thing ever. And that, like, I'll never forget that. But that just comes to prove that your friends are gonna be like the best out that you'll have. So your friends, you need your friends when you're going through something like this. All right, lots of TV and music and YouTube videos. It gets your head off of things, and sometimes it can be another good out without talking about stuff. Shh. All right, the next thing is, this can range depending on your parents, but it is a hard and long process. It's probably gonna suck for a while. It gets better and easier in most cases. It might take a while, it might take not a lot of time at all. Like I said, it depends on the type of divorce or what's happening in your family, but it will get easier and it will get better as you grow up and see why it happened, and just as you accept it more, it becomes easier to cope with and deal with, and it will get easier and better. The next thing I had to learn, forgive and forget. I don't know how to say this, but sometimes, depending on the situation or what happens, you just have to forgive and move on from what happened. That was my next thing, is to move on, because you can't dwell on your parents divorcing forever because it's happening and there's nothing you can really do to change it. So you need to accept it now so that you're not dwelling on it and sad all the time. The earlier you accept it, and the earlier you can heal from it, and you can start to build and grow as a person, you know? Next thing is cry. It depends on the type of person you are. Some people, crying makes them feel better. Some people, crying makes them feel weak. Some people just don't like crying at all. Whether it's crying on your friend's shoulder like I did, that helped me so much. Whether it's crying to one of your parents, whether it's crying to a counselor, whether it's crying by yourself alone in a room. Sometimes it's just better to cry because you can just let it out, and it can sometimes make you feel better. Sometimes, you might be really sad because you're crying, but if you get it out, sometimes that can make getting better. Yeah. Pets. Not everyone has pets, but I definitely turned to my pets a lot because I would just cuddle with them and talk to them. I'm an animal lady, what can I say? But I literally talked to my animals, and they were always there for me. Yes, you were, Sam. And Coco, I don't know where she went, but my pets were another two best friends to me during the time. They still are. I'm dating my dog, so. All right, the next thing is a diary or a journal or whatever you want to call it. Sometimes people like me, I don't like talking about stuff. There are very few people in my life that know a lot of personal things about me, and if you do, I obviously trust you a lot. But I don't like talking about stuff, so I write it down. So Like I said, it feels good when you get it out, and if you're not the type of person who likes talking about it, which is me, I hate talking about stuff, like I absolutely hate it, I write it down. That's why this is a very deep personal journal that no one will ever see. So, yeah, sometimes just writing it down can help get those emotions and feelings out without having to say them to someone, and sometimes it can just be easier to write them down than to actually come to terms and say it. Alright, the next thing is keep yourself busy, because the busier you are, the less time you'll have focusing and dwelling on the negatives of what's happening in your house and everything. So keep yourself busy. And going along with that, you could always focus on school. If the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to let it affect you so where your future is at stake. You want to keep pushing, because things will get better. It's going to suck and it's going to be hard, but it will get better. And you want to focus on school when it's happening, because one, that gives you an out that lets you keep yourself busy and focus on something else. Two, it'll help your future, because school, high school, as much as it sucks, it's shaping your future. And if you completely abolish it because you're really sad, which I can totally understand, it sucks and it is so hard to do, and it's hard to focus on school when so much stuff is going on at home. I get it, I feel you, it's hard, but don't let your grades go down to waste, because you're gonna regret it in the future. So just focus on school, keep your grades up, because it'll help me ensure a better future, especially if you want to leave, get out of here. Like, I want to go to New York so bad. Oh, okay. This also depends. There might be some fighting in your house. I mean, your parents are splitting up, so until they're split, like in different houses and stuff, it might be kind of noisy. Just know that. Just plug in your earbuds and zone out. You don't need to hear it, trust me. You might want to, but you don't need to hear it. The next thing is, don't hold your anger in, because this goes along with your sadness. If you hold your emotions in, they're going to build and build and build and build until you burst. So write it out, talk it out, cry it out, scream it out, do what you need to do, because if you keep it in, you're going to blow up at a wrong time, and then that won't be good. So I know me, like I remember one time I didn't talk or write or anything for a while, and I almost blew up at a teacher. I was like, ooh, I need to write some stuff down. So make sure you let it out in whatever form is easiest for you and makes you feel better, but don't hold it in, because you'll blow up. Not literally, but emotionally you might. Like, it's hard to keep things in your head for so long, and it just builds up and it gets very hard. Next thing is to stay positive. This might be one of the hardest things to do, because all this negativity is happening, all of these bad things are happening. It's so hard at home, and you're having to deal with this and go to school and do day-to-day life with all of this going on. It's a lot to handle, but staying positive kind of helps your mindset, because like I said, if you dwell on the bad things will stay in your head. But if you try to be positive, look on the brighter side, like, oh, well, you know, they're both going to be happier in different locations. Like I already said this, don't dwell on it, because there's nothing that you can really do. What's happened is happened, and what's done is done, and the only thing you can do is accept it and move on. So yeah, I guess that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a little bit like, it wasn't really into my life, but it was kind of a little into my brain. Like the things I did when my parents got divorced, those are some of the things I turned to and did. And I mean, I'm still doing good in school. I mean, average, you know, I'm not like extraordinary or anything, like A's and B's, maybe a C here or there. I'm not a perfect student by any means, but I want to go to New York, and I want to go to college, and I want to have a future. So I made sure to do these things, and I'm getting through it. So yeah, that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Comment below any video requests, and I will see you guys in the next video. Love you. Bye. You guys should totally share this with your friends if you know they're having a hard time with their parents' divorce. Maybe I can help them. That's kind of why I wanted to film this video, is if I had any words of encouragement or advice that they could benefit from. I hope that this video helps you if you're going through this. I know it sucks. It's really hard. It'll get better, and that's the most annoying thing you'll hear for a long time, but it will. And if you let it, and if you don't dwell on it, and if you try as hard as you possibly can to stay positive and talk about it and get those feelings out, you'll be okay. And if you guys ever want to talk, you know my email. I say it in like every video, but I'm always here for you guys, and I love you guys so much.